Ladies and gentlemen, today we got something that I absolutely did not expect, and you'll see what I mean as we dive into it, but it's essentially the trailer for Season 3, and I didn't expect this for basically at least a week, but here we are. Now, an interesting thing is it appears as though they are ditching the name Season 3, and I have a theory as to why that could be, but what I will say is what is coming looks pretty interesting. There's a lot to dive into and a lot to break down with this trailer, but first I just wanted to show it to you guys. Anyway, here's the trailer, then we'll break it down.
Nebula got out. The little Nazi fucks. They set off nebula bombs across the world. Paris, London, Moscow, and now Caldera Island. I ordered Team Harpy to intercept the package and make the Nazi bastards miserable along the way. They needed no encouragement. But what none of us knew was that a storm was on the horizon. With Nebula, the Nazis had unwittingly shaken something awake. Something far more powerful and fearsome than anything we could ever hope to comprehend.
So there's a lot to break down here, but essentially the backstory behind this cutscene is that Task Force Harpy has discovered that nebula bombs have been going off across the world. This is followed up by listing a bunch of locations.
Paris, London, Moscow, and now Caldera Island.
So Paris, London, Moscow, I think it's a pretty safe bet that within this season, that is probably where we will be seeing the maps actually take place. Now, the other thing that we can extrapolate from this is the actual characters that will be coming within this season. Now, an interesting thing is that it appears as though there's actually 4 characters within the season, and we'll see what I mean in a second. So first off, we have these 3 here, the character front and center with 17 on the helmet, the character off to the left-hand side with the mask over her face, and then the character on the right wearing the ski goggles and helmet. As of right now, I don't actually have any names for these characters. Normally we have some leaks revolving around it, but I don't have anything. But on top of this, there's also the title character wearing the hood with face paint. And again, we don't know who this character is. It could be just a skin for one of the other characters, but at this point, we don't really know. But I do find it interesting that there's 4 different ones that we see within this trailer. This is then followed up by what appears to be the main premise of this season, and that is what happens at the end.
But what none of us knew was that a storm was on the horizon. With Nebula, the Nazis had unwittingly shaken something awake. Something far more powerful and fearsome than anything we could ever hope to comprehend.
Now, when I first heard this, I simply thought that, okay, a storm is coming to the Caldera because they said there's a storm on the horizon, and in the background you could see clouds. However, what happened after that is there was a little radio broadcast that was put out at the very end of the trailer, and then they followed this up with a tweet of this. So alone, that means essentially nothing, but when you put it through a spectrogram, essentially, this is what it shows. And very plain to see, it shows monsters are real. Now, what does this mean? Now, with the nebula gas, we have seen before in a previous trailer that it turns people into zombies, similar to Nova 6 gas. So, zombies could be coming to the Caldera. Also, it said that it awoken something within the trailer, so these could be something new, completely different altogether. Essentially, at this point, we have nothing to go on and no idea what these monsters actually are. My guess is the reason why they put this trailer out so early is because they wanted to kind of show us what is coming, and I'm guessing over the next coming weeks, we're going to have a lot more teasers as to what these monsters actually are. I've heard some pretty wild theories, including Godzilla coming to the island. Maybe it's just because it's an island. The other interesting theory is that maybe something like Extinction will come back and we'll see some of those monsters return once again. But we'll have to wait and see what these actually are. Now, the last thing, and one of the things I find most interesting, is the title. Call of Duty Vanguard and Warzone classified arms, and then in tiny, tiny print, if you zoom in right below classified arms, you can see Season 3. Now, this is extremely, extremely interesting to me because it's been very, very rare where a season just hasn't been labeled with that season's number. The only one that really comes to mind is the Haunting or the Haunting of Verdansk in that season within Modern Warfare. Other than that, it has been pretty straightforward, just the number of the season. Now, there could be a couple of reasons for this. Reason number one, they're trying to get away from just labeling seasons with numbers, especially with there being a 2-year life cycle for Call of Duty next year. Maybe they don't want numbers, maybe they want names, and they want us to get used to that early on before simply that just happens. I think that's probably the most likely scenario. The other thing, and another reason why they could be getting away from season numbers, is that potentially Modern Warfare 2 or Call of Duty 2022 could come out early, leaving us with less seasons than we originally expected. And to get away from the numbers, it wouldn't be as obvious if that was actually happening. Now, I find that one a little bit less realistic. However, that theory definitely is out there. Now, the final thing I want to leave this off with is kind of my opinions on this. It appears as though within Season 3, there's going to be a heavy focus on the Caldera, which makes a lot of sense because in the last season, or Season 2.5, Season 2 Reloaded, it was mainly focused on Rebirth Island. So to see new things come to Caldera, new locations, new events, new modes, would make a lot of sense. At this point, the big question is, what exactly will be happening on the Caldera? The one other thing that I wanted to point out is when we talked about the locations of the multiplayer maps before, it has been rumored for a very long time that London Docks from Call of Duty World War II would be making a return, and with London being one of the locations that they stated, it would make a lot of sense for that to be the actual map that is coming. We'll have to wait and see, but it's just a theory as of right now. But all in all, this is the first trailer for a season that actually has me really interested as to what the heck is going to happen. There's a mystery behind it. Monsters are real. Monsters are coming. We're going to have to wait to see what actually comes of that. But that is all the information that we have as of now. I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, found it informative, always appreciate it if you hit that like button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars.